Welcome back, everybody. Now, hailing from Soweto, Terrence Maluleke has made significant strides in the art world, notably debuting at the 2024 Investec Cape Town Art Fair in February. His participation in the fair was part of a new feature called Generations, which focuses on emerging artists and aims to highlight diverse voices in contemporary art. Looking ahead, Maluleke is eagerly preparing for an upcoming showcase in Los Angeles in the United States, a significant milestone for any artist. To talk more about his journey, Terrence Maluleke joins us now in studio. Terrence, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you, Simbio. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to have you on the show. Let's talk
Fantastic.
about your journey, what inspired you to become an artist, and how has your upbringing in Soweto influenced your art?
Yeah, well, growing up in Soweto, I used to get inspired by everything around me. Actually, my grandfather was an artist.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of a tragic story, but I used to visit him, and I used to hang out with him, and he would draw in the taverns, and he would draw everywhere he was, and I'd just sit right next to him, and I would just kind of absorb his surroundings and absorb all of what he was doing. And so
And
he's
how
kind
much
of
of
the
an
first.
influence was he in terms of you pursuing art like on a full-time basis?
I was surrounded by art. Like, my mom used to collect so much of his work, and so every time I would wake up, there would be like work around him, and it's a beautiful thing to be surrounded by artwork. It's something I didn't take, I didn't take note of, but now that I'm kind of an adult and I'm seeing the beauty that was surrounding me shaped who I am today. Yeah.
Let's talk about your experience preparing for your debut at the Investec Cape Town Art Fair and how it felt to be part of the Generations cabal.
That was amazing. Well, courtesy of Southern Guild, they curated that whole thing, and we had a booth, and that was good. It was exploring the Rock's Drift, the talent place of Rock's Drift, where creatives used to kind of go there and actually create. And so that was a big inspiration, where it's like you are taking information from the past and you are kind of putting it into the contemporary space. So for me, I was like, that's a beautiful challenge. How do I add my voice into this conversation?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Would you say that it sort of changed your approach to, participating in big exhibitions as this, or you're simply just doing what you do best?
That's a good question. I always approach it as just doing me.
Yes.
The best way I can approach it is just bringing out what is within and putting it out in the world.
Right, right.
How you receive it is how you receive it.
Let's talk about some of the themes or, critical issues that you convey through your work. What is it that you talk about through the work that you do?
I'm starting to see it more as like a visual diary, as putting out what I have inside, where sometimes it's secret, sometimes it's information, sometimes it's a battle with religion, it's this wrestling, and it feels, in recent years, it feels much more introspective and investigative. Like, if I have so many questions, the studio for me becomes a place where I get to sit down, calm down, and get a really close look of all the details, whether it's the nuances of religion, where I stand in it, where I want to be. Do I prefer a world with, or do I prefer a world without? Okay. So these are the questions I'm kind of asking myself, and I'm happy to say I prefer a world with religion.
I'm still stuck at when you said it's a battle with religion. What do you mean by that?
It's this wrestle. Sometimes there's like, especially in my upcoming solo for LA, these are the questions I'm asking. The spaces in between, as an artist, we explore quite a lot. And so in exploration, you make mistakes. Yes. And where's the room for mistakes? Well, in exploration, you're trying to investigate. Sometimes you'll push the envelope a little bit too much, and sometimes you'll push the envelope a little bit too much in your own personal life. So where is the grace? So it's finding that middle place where the grace is and trying to explore that area, and sometimes push it even further. So
is your work abstract enough to sort of answer those questions or address those issues?
It's quite direct, but the stories within are quite abstract.
Right, right.
I approach the questions of death. That can be abstract in some sort of sense. What happens afterwards? That's a very abstract question. Like, what happens before? What happens afterwards? While we are alive, life is a little bit more abstract.
Got you.
There's an abstraction in it, yeah.
Let's talk about the kind of doors that your participation at the Investec Art Fair in Cape Town opened for you.
Ooh, that's beautiful. it opened this opportunity to have a solo in LA. I think that it's all, it all starts before the show. It's the moments in the studio, it's moments reading a book. It all adds up. It's never just one moment. So I feel it as it's an infinite canvas of like adding on and improving, and those kind of add on to the next story, the next chapter. Yeah.
I mean, your participation in LA is, I suppose, the pinnacle of your career. Is like the ultimate cherry on top. How did that come about?
It's amazing. I think it's a great opportunity. Pinnacle, I'm not sure. I think there's quite a bit more that is coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm oscillating between two, fine art and animation. So there's just, I don't limit myself into one. So there's just so much more. The world is your oyster for real. So how did that come about? Working with Southern Guild, they are the courtesy of them, where they have a gallery now in LA. They are a year in, and we're excited about.
So it is a South African gallery in the United States.
Yes.
Okay.
Cape Town-based gallery.
Right.
Yeah.
So you won't be the only South African artist?
I believe I won't be the only. I'm not sure of the names, but I think also Katleho will be there, and then there's going to be a couple of South African artists. I think Southern Guild represents African artists mainly, predominantly. So you'll be sure to see a lot of African artists and South African artists mainly.
So would you say at this point that your participation in LA has exerted so much pressure on you in terms of pushing the envelope a little bit further, or you just exerting your pressure on your own self, making sure that you become the better version of yourself every single piece of work that you create?
Pressure, that's a good one. I feel I'm constantly in a state of being uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable right now, but it's not, it's just a state of like being uncomfortable. And I'm uncomfortable everywhere, but I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I allow myself to be in a space of pressure, in a space of pushing myself. And I don't need like a United States to push me, but it is a good motivation. I think we have so much great talent around us right now in South Africa, in my area, in Africa, that there's like a peer pressure, a peer competition that kind of pushes you and kind of has you be on your toes all the time.
Well, I suppose pressure is good, no matter the depth, no matter the type of pressure, but pressure is good to keep you pushing.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure. Keep you motivated.
Absolutely. Terrence, lovely chatting to you, man. All the best in you, okay?
Thank you, Simpi.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, that was a young creative, Terrence Maluleke, talking to us about his artistic journey. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.